Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux edition here at the Nürburgring GP. We've had qualifying today, and now we head to our first race of the weekend. Of three, I know. Not just one, not just two. We got 3 races this weekend, and if qualifying was anything to go by, the races are going to be absolutely superb. And well, we are looking at pole sitter Maurice Schürling. And I've just found out this driver is 15 years old. Absolutely ridiculous. 15 years old. And then you've got the elder statesman in P2, the old driver, 17-year-old Luke Hartog. Unbelievable. 2 very young drivers. They're our pro drivers for today, but Maurice Schürling took pole position, and well, will he be able to take the race victory? Any thumbs up to the camera? No, unfortunately not. So there we go, we got our first glimpses at our P1 here. But yes, we have got ourselves the race of all races. I've been looking forward to this all day today. It's been a long day for me. This is my 7th session of the day, but I really have been looking forward to this one. It is a standing start, and it will be a 30-minute timed race. So race 1 and 2 of the weekend will be a 30-minute timed race. There is indeed Luke Hartog. Previous championship wins in the Ford Fiesta Cup. That was 2 years ago when he was 15. So long ago. He's so old and wise now at 17. Crazy. Crazy. I feel like I may have missed the boat being 34. That's not Hoob van Dijkhoven. That is the grid girl in front of Hoob. Hoob van Dijkhoven, who raced last week, as you may have seen, at Assen. He's P3 here. Can he throw the cat amongst the pigeons? In P4 then we've got Carlos Rivas, the Luxembourgian. An older gentleman compared to the drivers in front. And then livery of the weekend, 100%. Look at this. It is Gillison, and look at that. Come on! Yes. There we go. He just wants to get on with it. He's had enough of sitting there already. It's like, yes, it's race time. Absolutely, I agree. Let's get some race time on. Apologies also for anyone watching at home. There has been a little bit of a delay on track today. We had a safety car in the DTM trophies. We had a safety car also during the Lotus races we just saw. Sorry, the GTC. The Lotus had all sorts of shenanigans go down. So yeah, we've had a few delays with cars being taken off circuit and stuff. But we are here. We're ready. We're good. Van Dierendonk, the best name in motor racing. P6. He knows he's on camera, doesn't he? Look at that. He's like, Dad, I'm on camera. Dad. Dad, we're on the big screen. Yay. Get off your phone. It's motor racing happening. Good lad. Got his dad to pay attention to the screen. Of course, he was looking up stats and statistics on his phone about the Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux. That's what he was doing on his phone. Next up then is Michael Cool. Cool hand Michael in P9 in the Porsche GT3 Cup car. So not only have we got some GT3 Cup cars, we've also got ourselves some Cayman GT4 Club Sports. And well, we've got the J. Verhoevens, father and son team here. I'm pretty sure that we will see Jean-Pierre racing in the first race. Someone's come dressed to impress, haven't they? Hello. What an outfit this is. He's dressed like it's my wedding day today, but I also need to do a race. You've got to respect it. Baz Barenberg in 9th position on the grid. Thumbs up there. He's looking forward to it. He's excited. again, he is. He's just come straight from his wedding. He got married today. Congratulations. He's got a race to watch. Van Leer and Redant. Oh dear, a little bit of a crack there on the windscreen. Ayrton Redant is actually the son of the team owner of this car. So we've got our very own sort of Lawrence Stroll story here. Has to be a forfeit, surely. Has to have been a forfeit. Fair play. Absolutely dressed to impress. And well, we've got a standing start here, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't look like we have a formation lap, do we? Do we have a formation? I don't know if we have a formation lap. I have no idea. Oh, this could be interesting. Still got 2 red lights then up on the circuit. 1 to go. There's a klaxon. Oh, that's brilliant. Some refreshments, a bit of DTM support series action. They've been there all day. 18 seconds to go then, ladies and gentlemen, before we go green here for the Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux race number 1. On pole position then it is Maurice Schuring. In second spot it is Luke Hartog. And there we go. It will be a formation. Well, oh dear. Huub van Eindhoven is just about getting the car going there. Starting off like it was his first ever driving lesson. Here for the Nürburgring GP race number 1. As they all indeed try and get some warmth into their tyres. Of course there's another 69. Nice. But the battle of the young guns are at the front. The 2 pro drivers then, Maurice Schuring and indeed Luke Hartog. Those are the 2 to watch out for. Can Huub van Eindhoven throw a spanner in the works? They were all pretty close in qualifying. 800 separating the front 2. So there we go. There is the qualifying grid. And actually, sorry, Schuring, this is qualifying 1. Qualifying 2 was a lot closer. So Schuring on pole. He's on pole for both races, remember. We've then got Hartog in second, Eindhoven in third, Rivas in fourth. That's your front 2 rows. Again, we really need to talk about the speed in which these names come across my screen. I am not a quick reader. That is a fact. And well, pole position sitter, Maurice Schuring is off. He's off. This is the final race of today. As you can see, it is very much the shadows are growing longer. The racing action has just been getting better and better and better. I'm sure a lot of you may have watched the Lotus races just before this. Crazy action there. I would love to commentate on a bit of Lotus action. Here is the track layout then. Again, 5.1 kilometers, but it was 4.5 earlier, so who knows how long Nürburgring is. It's just a mystery. But right now we're going to go and say it's 5.1. Why not? Why not? Here we go then, through the elbow for the first time here on their formation lap before they embark upon their 30-minute timed race here at the Nürburgring GP. It will be Maurice Schuring that takes them away. Luke Hartog will be in second spot. Van Eindhoven in third position in an all-green car. And then in fourth spot, it will be Carlos Rivas. Jellison then is going to be in P4. As we watch all of these cars then come through that chicane. Where moves will be made, that's for sure. And I anticipate this to be potentially the closest racing that we see. So they all indeed now need to go into their grid spots. Now it's all about their response time. And well, the 2 young guns at the front, they're going to have no problem with reactions, that's for sure. Surely going to be a little bit better than my reactions. So maybe Luke Hartog playing mind games here by just taking his time into his grid slot, making Morris Schuring indeed stay in his grid position stationary a lot longer. Here we go then. It is race time. Waiting for that klaxon, and then the lights will go green. There's the green flag. There's one, there's two red lights, 3, 4, and there's the 5th. And we are racing here, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you what, Hartog's got a very good start in second and already trying to get across then. It is Schuring trying to hold on to P1. But look at this, Hartog late on the brakes here. And then we've got Rivas in the background, unfortunately, making a mistake there. He's going to run off circuit. He's going to drop down nearly to the back of the order here. And there's no carnage. Probably should have been carnage, but there wasn't. Van Eindhoven then is trying to hold on to P3. And wow, I'll tell you what, Jellison's had a great start to this race. He is in P4 right now, leaves the door open for a potential move from the Porsche in behind him. But look at this, there's contact between the front two. As you can see there, Morris Schuring was looking for a move for the lead. Luke Hartog, though, closed the door. And wow, as it stands, then the front two have swapped positions. Van Eindhoven has stayed in third. And wow, Jellison has moved up a position here. Oscar Rivas, Carlos Rivas, sorry, has just completely missed his braking point at the start of this race and had to move off the left through turn 1 just to avoid any contact with anybody. But again, everyone's got through nicely cleanly. A few mistakes here, though, out of turn number 7, or down towards turn number 7, out of turn 6. And well, what a frantic start it was. And it looked like Morris Schuring had covered off the gap there. But he hadn't. It was just enough, and just enough for Hartog just to get into that gap there. Car's width at a maximum. And well, he found it. Got up the inside, and he's not looked back since here. Front two. Hartog started P2. P1 on the grid was indeed Morris Schuring. 15 years old Schuring. A bit of a mistake being made there as well. Eindhoven maybe looking to potentially move up here. You can see then in behind here is Carlos Rivas. So Rivas then trying to come back up through the pack. He's in behind Jean-Pierre Verhoeven as it stands. But it looks like the front two have just got a little bit more pace than everybody else as it stands, although there was a mistake there from Morris Schuring. Schuring, they're trying to do a little bit too much with the car here. Look at them jumping over those curbs. Ooh, lovely old job. Those cars have got to eat, and they're eating curbs right now. I'll tell you what, it's a great move here. Great bit of driving outside of the chicane there. Carlos Rivas up the inside towards Coca-Cola curve, and that is an absolute freebie. Did he get that done before the yellow flag, though? We have got a yellow flag on circuit here, so not too sure what exactly has happened. But as it stands, then Hartog leads, Schuring second, Van Eindhoven's in third, Jellison is in 4th position. Great stuff then from our front four. Livery of the weekend, by the way, is currently in P4. So, and who's that in the background? That's the number 700 there of Sven van Leer in a GT4. And yeah, looks like that was what the yellow flag was. But they're all good. You can see the medical car in the background as well. But the front 3, front 4 are all off and running here. And I'll tell you what, Hartog is maybe not quite so quick in the qualifying session, but he is proving his pace right now in race pace. Qualifying is great, but this is where you earn your big points in the race time. A couple of people are running a little bit wide there out of turn number 4, down towards 5, then 6. And actually, Hartog just runs a little bit wide there. He's the one that kicked up that dust. But as it stands, then the front 2 positions have swapped positions. And then we've got the same driver in 3rd spot. And here we go. So look at this then. You can see that Hartog gets a relatively good start. It wasn't an absolute flyer. Jellison is the one with the flyer from P5. You'll see him pull out to the right-hand side of your screen. He'll go right now. There we go. So you can see Van Eindhoven in the green car has gone over to try and cover off Rivas. And Rivas has got really tight here. But look at the lead battle. So Rivas has to move off to the left. Hartog finds the smallest of gaps, and he actually pushes Schuring pretty much off the circuit there, or just squeezes him. He's got every right to do so. Schuring had to back out, and Van Eindhoven was not close enough to take full advantage. But the big loser there was Rivas, but Rivas is already back into P5, by the way. So he's absolutely dominating through the pack here. But what a frantic start it was here for the Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux edition, and there's a battle actually now forming for that podium spot. As you can see then, that Jellison is right in behind Van Eindhoven. And Van Eindhoven would be used to this. Last week, he had a driver behind him all weekend, right up in behind him. So right now, he's got to lean on that experience from last week and be a little bit clever. Looks like the front 2, again, this is perfect for them. If these 2 start battling, then they're able to just drive away. But it's only going to give the chance then for Carlos Rivas to close up to the front drivers. But as it stands, then Hartog is in first, 6/10 back is Schuring. So Schuring has indeed settled down here nicely, and he is closing up to that lead. Van Eindhoven and 2.3 seconds behind the leader. Gillison just in behind them as well. So very, very close battling happening right now. Van Dierendonk is currently in P5. Great stuff. Fantastic stuff. So Gillison then trying to make a move here on Eindhoven. Eindhoven just made a little bit of an error there, actually, through turn 3. And Gillison is very, very close indeed. Not quite close enough. But Van Eindhoven is going to have a very tough day in the office here. He's going to be looking in his rear view mirror. And, well, he's going to just see a very colourful car behind him. You can't miss it. It's got so many different colours on it. It's bright as you like. Hartog, though, at the start of this race, managed to get himself a little bit of a gap here, but Scheuring is definitely closing that up. Look how close it is now. So we are potentially going to see our two pro drivers battling it out for the victory. With 24 minutes remaining on the clock through the Schumacher S's here. A lot of curb grab there by Hartog. We've already seen a driver make a mistake there. Felix von der Laden in the DTM Trophy grabbed far too much curb, and actually it cost him on the exit. And you can see here, now the gap really has closed in between the front two. And again, don't get too much curb through the S's. Don't get too greedy. So here we go then. Flashing of the lights there from our 15-year-old. Is he close enough to make a move here into the slipstream? And he's being clever here, actually. Getting on the brakes early. He's going to look to try and punch his way out here. A little bit like what Carlos Rivas did, but he just makes a mistake on entry. And it's going to cost him here. And Gillison, I tell you what, it's got some serious pace. If he can get ahead of Van Eindhoven, maybe he could utilise the two drivers behind making mistakes. And, well, you can see Rivas making his way up into 5th. So Rivas is making a move up the inside. Yes, he is. He's up into 5th position as it stands. So Nicholas Van Dierendonk is going to find himself down in 6th spot here. So Hartog does lead. It's only 0.3 of a second now. Eindhoven, Gillison just off the pace here, but they're just as close as the front two are to each other. And then we've got Van Dierendonk in 6th. And then we've got, indeed, Rivas in 7th. Rivas is in 5th. In 6th then is Van Dierendonk, who's just made a little bit of an error there. Runs wide out of turn number 1. And wow, that means Rivas now can go and try and close in on the leaders. So here we go. What's happened here? Oh, he's gone for it. So Van Dierendonk's just got on the brakes late there, hasn't he? He's done exactly what Rivas did in the first lap. So he's got on the brakes a little bit too late. And unfortunately, it's cost him. Got the brakes on the white line, I think, as well, which just shot him forward ever so slightly. Luckily, no one was in behind him to lose a position. We're just now on board with the two leaders here, jumping over those curbs. Look at that. That's loads of curb being used there. Need to be careful. We've had people given penalties and actually had laps taken away from them due to them cutting that second part of the chicane far too much. So need to be careful. We're back live then. And the leaders then. Hartog still in the lead here. After taking the lead into turn 1. And very similarly to what Marcus Winkelhock did in the GTC racing this afternoon. He's taken full advantage when people are cold in the mind. But can he keep the fastest driver on the grid, I would say, Maurice Scheuring, at bay? 2 pole positions he's got for this weekend so far. And, well, you average his time out, he's going to have 3 pole positions. He will start pole tomorrow. Actually, sorry, he's not in the endurance race, the 3rd race, actually. The 2 drivers at the front here will not be in that 3rd race. So can Gillison shape up a potential move here? He's very close. I think he might go for a little late lunge here in towards that chicane. Is he close enough? He's having a go, not quite close enough, but wow, Van Eindhoven makes a huge error here. And I think Gillison might be able to get the power early enough. Not quite able to indeed make a move here. He's going to have to go around the outside. We've got a yellow flag on circuit as well. That's been taken away straight away as well, which is great news. So it looks like someone may have made a mistake into a gravel trap, but here we go. This is the battle for 3rd then. Hartog and Scheuring still leading. Hartog now actually 0.3 of a second clear, further clear than he was previously. As they head down towards turn number 1. Is Gillison close enough? No, he's not. So indeed, Van Eindhoven, who just has not had it easy for the last 2 weeks. It's been crazy. Now look at Rivas. So we're going to have a 3-way battle for that podium spot very, very soon indeed. And this is going to get very interesting. Here we go. This is what the yellow flag was for. Oh, that is facing the wrong way. That is not the way you want to be facing. But luckily, they're all good. Lots of gravel's been put onto the track there. And that is in a very dangerous spot with all that gravel on the exit of the Schumacher S's. So we've already seen von der Laden have too much curb, or take too much curb on the Schumacher S's and run out wide there, and it's cost him. He's put him into a barrier. So with lack of traction now on the exit of the Schumacher S's, they need to be careful. So I'm sure their teams would have radioed in to let them know. But the first time round, we could see some potential incidents here. So they're coming up towards the S's now, so we're going to find out. Hertog's just taking the lead out a little bit more here as well. And here we go. So it's kind of a bit of a fake move there by Gillison. And actually, what cost him was too much curb in the end. So he's tried to go in nice and tight, but unfortunately, it's just not worked out. Even though Van Eindhoven made a mistake. Because look at this, look how deep he runs. So he's not able to gain much momentum, runs over the curb himself. And yeah, all good. And we're back to live pictures then. 20 minutes still remaining of this race. And they've got through the S's here, so they would have already got rid of a load of that gravel. That would have been shot off now with them just driving over it. But again, you've got to be careful for any potential punctures. We actually saw a puncture in the Lotus race just previous to this. So yeah, it is definitely something to be wary about. So the number 14 then still in P2, trying to find an opportunity here. Probably not quite close enough to do so. Goes out a little bit wider there to be on the power a little bit earlier on the Coca-Cola curve. But as we head down in towards turn number 1, not much between them. 0.6 seconds still. 0.6 seconds, but it's a battle between third and fourth that is very interesting. It says 0.7, but they look a lot closer. Rivas then is really close to both of them as they come through turn number 1. Neither of them running particularly wide, but here we go then. Rivas is involved here. Started P4, but is he going to be able to get himself back up into P4? Gillison's just dropping off the pace here now, ever so slightly, of Van Eindhoven. Eindhoven then is succumbed. He's just taken all that pressure, soaked it up beautifully well, and now he's off to drive away towards the leaders perhaps. You never know what could quite happen. The leaders are so close, you might see some incidents. You never know. So this could be Van Eindhoven's win if he really does start to pile that pressure on. If he can just drive away from these two. He'll want to be hoping that Rivas starts putting Gillison into positions he doesn't want to be, slow them both down, and then he can just have that freedom to roam. Hartog, though, still leading this race. Again, got all the hard work done in the first part of this race. And you see here, 2.5 seconds being taken out of this battle here by Carlos Rivas. Rivas really showing his form. Terrible start from him, but he's showing that he can overtake, that's for certain. So the front two, as it stands then, are just separating ever so slightly here. Yeah, so Hartog's finding a bit more form here. The middle part of this race, tyres are in their optimum temperature range now. If anything, they're going to be going the other way. They were cold at the start, now they're going to be getting a bit too warm. So you need to be a touch more careful. It's all about how you've managed it at the start of this race. So we head then up towards that final chicane. Look how late the brakes Carlos Rivas is able to go. Gillison not able to match him there for sure. Well, he's already done one move here on the opposite chicane. He's going to be able to do another. Not really quite close enough here. Or is he going for a late one on the inside? He is. He's found a gap here. And Gillison is going to be forced to leave the door open on the exit, though. Gillison just about hangs on underneath that rear wing then. It's going to be slipstreaming him all the way down to turn 1. We know that Rivas has already made one mistake on the braking. He's going to be forced to go around the outside. Or is he going to decide to fake and go up the inside? But he's not. He's going to go all the way around the outside. He's just about got his nose ahead here. And, well, unfortunately, he's made a mistake here again under braking. Gillison, superb stuff. Take a bow. Brilliant bit of defensive work there, forcing the mistake from the driver behind. And well, now he's got to do it all over again as Rivas. Took him a couple of laps to really get close enough to attack. Now it's got to be all done once again. 17 minutes remain. You see Rivas there trying to use the curbs to get a bit of extra rotation in the car. We're on board with the leader then. Again, grabbing so much curb through that final chicane. And we've seen no one being bit by it yet this weekend. No one's made a big error on the exit of that corner. They've all been taking loads of curbs, so I'm wondering who will be the first one to indeed take too much, let's say. So Carlos Rivas then, just in behind Gillison. On the exit then of the hairpin. And he's got to, like I said, he'll do all that hard work again. He closed that gap, he closed it right down, he had a chance to attack and then makes a mistake into turn 1. Up towards the elbow here, and look at this then. Hartog has made a huge gap on himself now. So Morris Schering from pole position, losing out so early. It's unfortunately not looking good here. Van Eindhoven, while these two have been battling, has been able to drive away. It's been a perfect drive here from Van Eindhoven, to be fair. So he'll be racing in all 3 races this weekend, will Van Eindhoven. So again, he can score maximum points for the Sprint Cup Championship. 1.9 seconds now, Hartog is ahead of Scheuring. So yeah, not so close anymore. Maybe Scheuring's just decided to get his tyres back into a decent range. They've both been pushing, it makes sense. And then maybe attack at the end here. Rivas still P5 and behind Gillison. So Gillison doing a good job. Rivas locks up there and he makes another mistake through turn 1. And what could this race have been? He's got some unbelievable pace, by the way. Some just cracking pace. But unfortunately, turn 1 keeps absolutely nailing him. So Maurice Schürling, he's actually a young talent from karting, apparently. It's only his 2nd ever weekend. On his 1st weekend, he managed to get a race victory. So he has got some serious pace. And that kid's future is huge, absolutely huge, limitless. But he's met his match today. Luke Hartog. He was not happy with getting P2 in twice in qualifying. And he's turned up for this race, that is for certain. Over the halfway point of this race, then Rivas again. Just struggling under braking. So it's under braking that the problems are occurring. Everywhere else seems absolutely fine. So come up then through the S's. So taking curb on the exit again. Needs to be really careful with that. So it's so easy to oversteer out of the Schumacher S's. So we're on board then with the number 4, Hartog. In the Baz Kooten Racing. Well, with no mistakes from this point here, he's looking very good to get the maximum points. So he's going to have to do all the hard work once again tomorrow, because he will start 2nd again to the same driver. And obviously, Maurice Scheuring is not going to leave that door open at all next time. It was 1.6 previous lap, now it's 2 seconds. So 2 seconds separates then our front 2. Van Eindhoven then still in 3rd spot. Gillison is in 4th. Rivas in 5th. I think Rivas has got the pace to be hanging with maybe Van Eindhoven, maybe even the front 2. Just really struggled. Just really struggling. Just 12 minutes, 30 seconds remaining here. And the motorsport is all about taking full advantage. So you've got to take full advantage here. By the looks of things also, Luke Hartog will actually be a guest driver in Le Mans for the Porsche Carrera Cup. So that's a lifelong dream. I actually watched Le Mans 66 for the first time last night. Very good film. So looking on board with Carlos Rivas then. Again, P5 will want to 100% be pushing towards top 4, but every time he gets close enough, it's just not enough. Yeah, every time he gets just close enough, it is not enough here. Gillison, though, by defending valiantly, lost out position here on Van Eindhoven for that podium spot. So will he be able to find any form in the last 10 minutes of this race? We're about to find out. As Van Eindhoven is now 6.7 seconds off of the lead. Hugging the apex there beautifully well around the final corner. And again, the gap now for the lead, 2.1 seconds. So Hartog's taking his foot off the gas. He's not really extending his lead, but, you know, Scheuring's not going to be in the slipstream anymore. He's just done the perfect job right now. Got into the lead early, and he has not looked back. He was under extreme pressure for 3 laps, I would say. But after that, just a bit of a clinic, really. Masterclass shown by Hartog, the very young driver. He is, again, one of our 2 pro drivers. They are P1 and P2 right now. 10 minutes, 40 seconds remain. And I guess this is the closest battle on circuit right now. This is for P4. And well, the chance to then go and attack P3. Rivas, one more opportunity, I would imagine. At this stage, he keeps getting close enough, and then there's an error being made, or defense has been brilliant by Gillison, one of the two. And then he loses a second and a half. See some fans there. They had the binoculars out earlier on. So many people watching today here live at the track, which is fantastic news. And you see there that Rivas just under braking, just doesn't seem to have the car connected with him under braking. Keeps running out wide and on all of the really harsh braking zones, which there's really only two. I guess you could count the final chicane as one, but it's uphill as well, so it's not as harsh on the brakes. But downhill into the hairpin and downhill into turn one, that's really where you've got to earn your crust in terms of braking. And Rivas has been really struggling with that aspect of his racing today. That's what's costing him. That's what put him out of position here. Again, he qualified fourth, so to be outside of that, it'll be pretty gutted. You always want to move forward. Again, same with this driver here. I tell you, Morris will be very gutted that he's not in the lead. As we get a nice, sexy replay then of the curb usage. Absolutely chucked up in the air. Well, you can see he's really pushing the car because he's taking curb on the entrance and the exit. So Rivas just dropped behind Jellison now. Jellison is doing a pretty stellar job here, not really closing in on Van Eindhoven, but securing his P4. Rivas again under braking. Runs out wide, tries to get the power to recover it, and just steps the rear out. Losing more and more time. Of course, the tyres are going to get worse and worse with incidents like that, so his braking's naturally going to become worse. He's got less friction on the ground. So yeah, Rivas is he's going to have learnt a lot today. That's for sure, especially about this circuit. Through 5 and 6. Again, you can just see this. It's like a disobedient dog, this car. It just keeps wanting to step out on him. Doesn't want to do what it's told. Actually, right now, I'd say Gillison is moving away. He's driving off into the distance. I'm not going to be able to catch Van Eindhoven. He's done enough work here. I would say to guarantee himself a podium. No mistakes, though, from him. And he's good. Of course, last week had a drive-through penalty in a different championship. So we'll definitely not want to be doing that, that's for sure. Just keep within the track limits and you should be good. .4 seconds separating the leaders then. Hartog in P1, Schuring P2. Van Eindhoven and 8.9 seconds adrift here. So it's looking like another podium. 2 last week, 1 this week. Gillison, 11.9 seconds. Rivas then is in 5th position. Our top 5 are kind of separated from the rest of the field here. We're getting even more replays. And Van Eindhoven just absolutely dominating the curbs right there. And again, I've been saying this all weekend. It's high risk. The rewards are huge as well. So what is it, if his car isn't cleared the ground by what, half a centimetre? You're taking your front splitter with you here. So that's the last thing you want to be doing. But he's in the podium spot. I'm not going to tell him how to drive. That would be silly, wouldn't it? Back live then, 6 minutes here to go. And Hartog, again, still out in the lead by quite the considerable margin. So it's going to take a mistake here for sure for him to lose this race. There is our race leader. He's actually catching up then to Sven van Leer to lap the vehicle. And this is definitely not where you want to get involved with any of the back markers either. Just be patient, get it done in a nice straight, long, wide part of the circuit. Don't get involved in anything through corners as we head towards the last 5 minutes. This is where you really earn the dough. Up towards that final chicane. And it's going to be really close here as to whether we are going to have 2 more laps. Or indeed, no, we're definitely going to have 2 more laps. There's going to be 3 more laps in this race, for sure. So we start the final, the third of the final 3. Or the third from last. He is closing up to the number 700. Driving the Cayman GT4 Club Sport. He's gone for a late lunge on the brakes here. Is he going to expect a favour? Well, he's got one. The 700 is going to make the mistake and actually run out wide. So that's 1 bullet dodged. For the rest of this race, can he dodge the rest of them? As well for Luke Hartog. He had a car between them in terms of a lap vehicle. So again, easier to manage your race pace. We're actually going to go on board with Baz Barenberg here at Brugge. He's in P9. A little bit further behind these two. But Rivas is giving it another go here. Closing up to the back then of Gillison. Down towards the hairpin. And well, Rivas has finally started to nail the brakes here, which is not what Gillison will want to see in his rearview mirror. I think he realises that Rivas is faster, but now he's hitting his braking points. He is going to be a very dangerous commodity. Through the Schumacher S's. Neither of them touching the curb on the entry. But on exit they are, and oh, there's big smoke there. Not smoke, dust from gravel. I guess someone's been into the gravel there. And wow, look at this late lunge. And I say he's nailed his braking point, but he's run out wide there. And is Gillison going to be able to reciprocate? No, he's not. So Rivas takes P4. He's up to P4. Great bit of work then by him. And I think we've had a change of lead, have we not? No, that's a lap vehicle in front. That's a GT4 in front. Sorry. Because I'm seeing the dust being kicked up, and I figured that it might have been one of the leaders, but I don't think it is. So Gillison's got to redo all that hard work when he's not going to need to, because Rivas has made the mistake. And again, harsh braking. The braking zones have killed his chances of a top 4 today. Hartog leads by 3 seconds. 2 laps remaining. 2 laps remaining here. And there you go. Just going far too fast for the corner. Tries to turn in. The rear steps out and just take your medicine. Let the driver go through and pick up your P5. So we're on board then with Van Eindhoven, who's managed to get himself a lapped vehicle between him and the pack behind. Gillison, he's got enough position to work with here. Imagine if Rivas tomorrow comes out a whole different animal, hits his braking points, he's going to be dangerous for a potential race win for sure. His raw pace is unbelievable. But the odd error here or there has cost him. There's our mate, the Marshal. As we head then for the second to last time around the hairpin. Well, the race leader is Hartog. Schuring in second. Would have been great to see these two battle out for the entirety of the 30 minutes, but it's just not quite worked out like that. It was indeed Schuring that started on pole, and Hartog in second, and Hartog took every opportunity through turn 1 to indeed get the move done. It continued throughout the first sector. It was a very, very special start to this race, actually. And massive, massive praise goes out to Hartog. He's about to complete his 14th lap. We're headed to the 15th. And it will be the final lap of the race, then up towards that final chicane. And pending any mistakes here, we will see Hartog on the top step of the podium. It will definitely be a Porsche 123 on the podium. I wonder how many commentators have made that joke with a Porsche Carrera Cup championship. But 1 minute remains then, so we're just waiting for the graphic to pop up on screen to say this is the final lap. And then we can celebrate it like so. 50 seconds remaining. And there we go. Final lap of today's race. And Hartog through turn number 1. Schuring through turn number 1 as well. And it's been a very dominant display. Took his time. Schuring tried to hang on. He battled for about 3 laps to try and get back up into the lead. Just wasn't enough. And well, Luke Hartog is going to take the spoils here and the big points. Unless there's some sort of incident that happens, of course, on the final lap. You never know. It is motorsports. At the end of the day, we are relying on an engine and a car to run smoothly for the entirety of the race. We come then through turn number 5. And then through 6. Actually, Hartog there may have had a bit of an off. It's twice I think he's had a bit of an off. Nothing too crazy though. Down towards the hairpin. And again, just needs to keep it on the straight and narrow, and he will be golden. Big race win here. He's got to do all this hard work again tomorrow, though. He's starting second on the grid again tomorrow for race 2, which will be in the morning. So make sure that you all set your alarms. Come and watch some action with me. I would appreciate it. Through the Schumacher S's then. And well, we are merely half a lap away from a victory then for Luke Hartog. As we head then down the back straight. It's not straight, but it is flat out. Goes through the elbow. Needs to just get one really hard braking zone correct here, and he's good. Late on the brakes there. Through the chicane they come. Schuring as well, following it through nicely. So around the final corner here then at the Nürburgring GP. And it will be Luke Hartog who will take the victory here. Fantastic drive then from Luke. In second position then, it is going to be our second pro, Maurice Schuring. Congratulations to them. Superb drive. And look at this, Huub van Eindhoven again. The podium machine himself. 3 podiums in a row of what I've watched of him. Will take the podium here. 4th position is going to be Gillison, I think. Yes, there we go. So Gillison takes 4th position. In 5th then, it's going to be Rivas. In 6th position then, Van Dieren Donk. What a name. Don't forget the name. And we're just waiting for the rest of them to indeed classify. Front 3, I'll give him the opportunity to do a little formation lap around to let the fans wave at them. Let the fans experience the cars. Baron Brugge finishes a P9, 45 seconds off the pace. And that is pretty much it. So we're just waiting for them to indeed finish their parade lap. And Maurice Schuring is the race winner. Well, that is strange. As it should be Luke Hartog. Hopefully they will indeed correct that. And Luke Hartog says P2. Well, I find that very strange. Wonder whether he's been given some sort of time penalty of some sort. I can't imagine. I can't see him to have done anything wrong, unless he cut the track too much. But I guess we'll find out. So this is a replay of them coming across the line. I don't really know what's happened here. Pretty sure that it should be Luke that wins. We'll see. We'll see where they park up on the podium for sure. Just to make sure. There you have it. Some scenery. So it looks like Hartog has had a 5-second penalty awarded for track limits. And Maurice Schuring will be your race winner, ladies and gentlemen. So there we go. Track limits have been abused all weekend by these drivers. And, wow, there's the first 5-second penalty we've seen dished out. So now that sets a precedence for tomorrow. Very interesting indeed. Well, looks like Gillison will get P3 then. So Van Eindhoven has been found guilty of exactly the same here. So it will be Gillison that takes P3 in the best livery of the weekend. In P2 then it will be Luke Hartog. He's going to be absolutely furious and gutted, but that will just give him more fuel to the fire for tomorrow's race number 2. And then our final position, well, with the race victory, which didn't see that coming, Maurice Schuring, pole position and the race victory here in the Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux edition. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, ladies and gentlemen. That's me done for the day. I will leave you now with all the podium celebrations and whatever the camera picks up from now on. But I'll be back tomorrow for some more action with especially race 2 of this championship tomorrow morning. Thanks for watching. I've been Luke Crane. Bye-bye.